Welcome to Coffee and Bottles with Mathusha and Adriana.
Hi, I'm Mathusha.
And I'm Adriana. Okay, so we started a new segment about kid stories, and here is one of the stories from one of our listeners.
I asked my daughter if I could give her a hug, and she said no. And what? And then what did you say? So can I give you a hug? Can I give you a hug? Can I give you a hug? But she said, "Give me a deal," and I was like, "What?"
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. It's been a while.
I know, we missed you at the Zoom call.
I know, I'm sorry. I had my mother-in-law and some people over, so it's kind of weird to be
Yeah,
like I'm gonna go hang out with some other people now.
yeah,
But
no, totally, I get it.
how'd it
It
go?
was good, it was good. It was nice to see everyone. They were
Yeah.
all like joking around and, talking politics and news and other stuff. But
Uh,
yeah,
all interesting things.
yeah, exactly. I've
Yeah. How have you been? How's it going?
been okay. Weirdly,
Yeah.
really like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the weather, but just a little bit like emotional some days and like just
Mhm.
really off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've been feeling the same.
Hmm.
I think it's because of things picking up again, the numbers going up
Yeah.
and not being able to go out as much.
Hmm.
And yeah, the weather, it's cold one day, hot the next. There's no
I know.
sunshine. It's been raining.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really frustrating. Like even
Mm.
today, we went for a walk to like collect leaves or whatever. And then I was in like full fall gear because I'm like, if the weather's going to be like cold, I'm gonna at least feel good about dressing up to go outside. So I was in like something I saw on Pinterest, just like those scarves and whatever. And then it was boiling hot. I was like, oh man. So yeah. No.
So I do the same thing. Like you go on Pinterest and you check fall outfits 2020
Yes.
and then see if
Yeah.
I'm in trend somewhere.
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
no.
cool. I thought I was the only I thought it was so weird for me to do that because I'm like, why can't I just pick my outfits according to what I have in my closet? Why do I have to
I
make it so difficult?
I know, but you
uh,
know what? It kind of makes it fun though, because then it's
yeah.
like if it's cold weather, then you feel
Hmm.
like you feel good about your outfit. So it's like, okay,
Yes.
I don't mind dressing for this cold weather.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree with you. It's like you're putting in that extra effort and you feel
Hmm.
good about it. No, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
How are you after giving birth with the girls?
Um, at one point, I did have like I think I was telling you this before, like I
Hmm.
missed my old body. So it was
Yeah.
it was nice to have my body again, but then I was I don't know. I did kind of feel detached. Like I didn't feel like myself. Um at one point like like especially during the colic with the oldest one, I
Hmm.
felt really really like depressed.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah.
Not getting sleep and
Yes. Yeah.
she wasn't sleeping, eating, right? She had
Mm,
issues with eating as well.
yeah. Well, I think I was so stressed that it was tough for me to feed.
Hmm.
So we were
Yeah.
trying to supplement and then like, you know, husband was working, so he couldn't always help with middle of the night feeds. Like it wasn't I felt like it wasn't fair to ask him to do that,
Yeah.
especially because he had to like wake up early and drive the next day. So it was like, okay,
Hmm.
I will do some days, you help me out with some days, but yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. I mean, I was very blessed because his mom and sister were living with us at the time, so they
Yeah.
definitely helped out from time to time.
No, that's good. Having
Yeah.
that support is so important.
Hmm.
Um, I had the baby blues for 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and
What's
I
the
was
baby blues?
so the baby blues is after you give birth, your hormones are all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like your hormones are kind of regulating. We have to fact check this.
Okay.
They're kind of regulating yourself, and I remember at the hospital that the nurse came and told both of us, because I didn't know it existed,
Hmm.
um, that she's going to be going through the baby blues for a couple of weeks, and just be there, support her. It's not going to make any sense sometimes why she cries randomly, um, why
Oh.
she's crying randomly and things like that. She's like, it may not make any sense, but it's something that's going to happen. Um,
Oh.
and they were exactly right. I was a mess for 2 weeks.
Oh.
Um, and like rightfully so, because I just gave birth.
Hmm.
Um, but and I think the birth was kind of traumatic for me as well. So I
Hmm.
think it just added to everything.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I remember like getting upset at my mom for not a big deal,
Hmm.
like for something that wasn't a big deal.
Hmm.
And then I uh, was crying quite a bit.
Hmm.
And it was interesting because my mom's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
It's like my mom didn't know what the baby blues were, and my husband had to come in and be like, "Oh yeah, so the nurse said this and that, and she's gonna be a little, a little off a bit for 2 weeks,
Hmm.
but after that, she'll be back to her old self, sort of."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember getting upset because um, someone came over and I wanted to kind of be with me with by myself for two
Hmm.
weeks
Hmm.
before visitors came over. And I remember someone coming over and I was very upset. So
Right.
I told my mom that I'm going to be in the room and I'm just to tell them that I'm napping.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't even say hi to that person. So like things like that, that's not something that I would normally do.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow. I
And then
didn't.
after that, no?
No.
Oh, I just I don't know how they knew, but they just said, she's gonna have the baby blues.
Wow.
Like I'm sure it could have developed into something else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, of course, right?
Hmm.
But they were so accurate.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you didn't go through that the
I
first like 2 weeks after giving birth.
right. I was definitely I don't know. Okay, this might sound really bad, but I was kind of annoyed sometimes um when we did have visitors because I was trying to breastfeed and I was
Yeah.
like I was trying to think of logistics. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, if it's a female, I will ask politely, like, are they okay? If it's a male,
Yeah.
I'm running upstairs. Like I'm not gonna stay. So
Yeah.
that was a little, I mean,
Annoying. Yes.
yeah, it was just annoying, but again, like my hormones were just kind of like balancing out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I no, I definitely it wasn't. I don't think it was the baby first one.
Mm. I guess some people go through it and some people don't. And I had a C-section. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you give birth naturally, your body knows that you've given birth,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of I feel like it would know how to reset itself or to go
Right.
back to normal. I feel like when you have a C-section, it's not natural, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not normal to give birth that way. So your body's kind of like, where's the baby? Where'd it
Right.
go?
Yeah.
Especially the first 3 months, right? The
Hmm.
breastfeeding, not producing enough, and doing all the things that you said that you would never do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Too. Because I've heard
yeah,
a lot of mothers, like I think one of our family members went through something to that degree, and
yeah.
yeah, it definitely, like it's not easy because you're just going through
Hmm.
something so big and drastic in your life.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so interesting how it's it's common, right? Like everyone gives birth, everyone has
mhm,
children,
mhm.
but it's like it's a very tough, traumatic experience.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, and you would think we would have found like an easier way of doing it or
Hmm. Hmm.
a more efficient way of doing it. I don't know. I just,
I know. Well, that's
right?
like that always reminds me. Okay, now I'm gonna reference Star Trek because we were just talking. But that reminds me of Star Trek, where they're like, they have, like, my husband talks about this all the time. They have the latest
Yeah.
technology and whatever, and they're still getting headaches on that show. Like, the doctor
Yes.
will be like, "Oh, so you have a headache, do you?" She's like, "Oh my goodness, let me give you something for that." And then they give them like what looks like Tylenol. Like it's like, no, we need to evolve from this. No more headaches.
Yes. Evolve. We need to evolve. Come
Yeah,
on, guys. We need to evolve.
seriously, seriously.
Yeah. Like we need to Pokemon. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening to Coffee and Bottles. Keep sipping on.